Ayo and the Giant of Shadow Mountain. One chilly morning, Ayo the hippo woke up to a loud boom that shook the jungle trees. Boom! 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 "What is that?" asked Brooke the cat, her tail puffing up nervously. The ground trembled again. "It's coming from Shadow Mountain," said Emeline the elephant. Nobody ever went near Shadow Mountain. Strange fog covered it day and night, and scary stories said a giant lived there. Then suddenly, a tiny white feather floated down from the sky. Attached to it was a note. "Help us! Esme, Oli, and Edward." "Oh no!" gasped Aisha the flamingo. "We have to help them," said Tristan the tiger bravely. So the friends packed supplies and began climbing Shadow Mountain together. The wind howled around them. Woo! Snow crunched under their feet. Crunch! 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 Suddenly, a huge shadow moved through the fog. Thud! 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 A giant! The creature was taller than the trees, with shaggy gray fur, enormous boots, and glowing yellow eyes. Everybody froze, except Xavier the dog. "Run!" he barked. The giant roared so loudly that snow fell from the cliffs. "Who dares climb my mountain?" The friends scrambled behind rocks. Then they heard a faint cry. "Help!" Hidden inside a giant wooden cage were 3 frightened animals: Esme the seal, Oli the owl, Edward the bear. "The giant captured us," whispered Oli. "He says nobody can leave his mountain." "We'll get you out," promised Ayo. But the cage was locked with a massive iron chain. Jenson the Rhino pushed against it. Clang! "No good," he grunted. Brooke narrowed her eyes. "I have an idea." While the others distracted the giant, Brooke quietly sneaked toward the lock. Meanwhile, Tristan leaped onto a snowy rock. "Hey, Big Ugly!" he shouted. The giant stomped around angrily. "Where are you?" Xavier barked from another direction. Aisha flapped overhead, yelling, "You run like a sleepy potato." The giant became so confused he spun in circles trying to catch them all. Meanwhile, Brooke carefully climbed onto the lock. Click, clack. Almost there. But suddenly, snap! A twig broke beneath her paw. The giant turned. "You!" Thud, thud, thud. He charged toward the cage. "Oh no!" cried Esme. But Emeline stepped forward bravely. She raised her trunk and let out the loudest trumpet ever. Trrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr down nearby. Whoosh! The giant stumbled backward into a snowbank with a gigantic splat. Everyone burst into action. Jenson smashed the chain with his horn. Crack! The cage door swung open. You're free! Shouted Ayo. The friends raced down the mountain together while the giant roared behind them. But halfway down, Edward the bear stopped. Wait, he said. Listen. The giant wasn't roaring angrily anymore. He sounded sad. The friends carefully peeked back. The giant sat alone in the snow with his head down. I didn't want to hurt anyone, he mumbled sadly. I was lonely. Ayo blinked. You were? The giant nodded. Everyone always runs away because I'm big. The friends looked at one another. Then Ayo smiled. Well, you are very big. And very smelly, added Brooke. And very loud, said Xavier. The giant sighed sadly. But, said Emeline kindly, that doesn't mean you have to be alone. The giant looked surprised. No one has ever said that before. So instead of fighting the giant, the friends invited him down to the jungle for a feast. That evening, everyone sat around a huge campfire. The giant carefully ate tiny jungle berries using 2 fingers. Esme the seal splashed in the river. Oli the owl told funny stories. Edward the bear roasted marshmallows. And for the first time in many years, the giant laughed. The sound rumbled across the jungle like thunder. But this time, nobody was afraid.